That's my dude. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are excited for another day to teach entrepreneurs to go out and teach entrepreneurs. That's good. That's real good. Sometimes I say stuff that I'm like, that's that one line you got to keep. So Marquise, that's a Paul Jones. Teach entrepreneurs to teach entrepreneurs. We lead by example. You got me, dog? All right. No be biting up in here today. We love Marquise. We picking up. Marquise got some reps this week, y'all.
All right.
Marquise love. I mean, in the South, he get them up here, but in the South, he got them. So I'm gonna continue to give him props because any growth is growth. We also gonna give Jason Lee. He put in the game this week. Yes, so that's what it's about. Is everyone has that entrepreneur bug in them. Sometimes they just need that certain guidance so that we can help shape them into the right direction. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna say it to the day I die. Creating wealth is easy. It's simple. It's getting people to just follow directions is what makes it hard. And if you really think about this, as I get the chance to bring up a good brother, I just want y'all to keep this in your head and you can write it down. All you're doing is bringing on 3 people. If you really think, move away all the what ifs, move away all of the but I heard, move away all the distractions, obstacles. All you're doing is saying, you know what? When you get through talking, I remember my mother used to say, she would tell me to clean up a room or do something, but she would basically follow up with, well, whenever you get through with all this, you still got to go do it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, so whenever we get through with all the questions and all the different stuff, it's like, you still got to bring your 3 people in. And then what? If you think about this, if all you're doing is 3, and all they're doing is 3, and all they're doing is 3, I'm saying do it over the next 7 days, but I'm gonna give you an example that what if it took you 7 months? But instead of saying now I'm gonna start and go 7 months, we're gonna go retro. What if 7 months ago, February, you'd have said, I'm getting my 3 in February. And in March, I'm getting my 3. In the April, I'm gonna help them get 3. In May, June, July, August, September. Right now, your October 15th check would be a minimum of 5,000 minimum. So when you think of, like I was talking to my wife and my daughter via, phone service this morning, and we're just like, all right, what you doing today? Enjoy your day. But it's like she's got 8 to 9 years of schooling to get out, and it just hit me. I'm like, man, my baby's gonna do all that, and I'm praise God for her accomplishments. But I can show a person to do what it's going to take her 8 to 9 years, income-wise at least. Can't teach you to be a doctor in 8 to 9 in 7 months, in 7 weeks. But income-wise, who said you had to be a doctor? Who said you had to be a lawyer? Who said you had to be any of all these things? Who said that? That's something that's been taught into people. No, if you want to get ahead, you work within a system, you follow directions in that system, and you get everybody else to quit looking for the catch and realize that they got caught already, and we're trying to free them. That's why we call it freedom. You've already been caught. That's why people are like, well, I'm busy. You're busy doing something that will never pay you $5,000 to $10,000 a month residually. Meaning, if I were to pass away, God forbid, and I'm not leaving this earth no time soon, the family would still receive dividends. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's what it's about. I want you to have things in perspective. So I get a chance to bring up a good brother who will be going over things, but I don't want us to take his time for granted. I want you to really suck into what he's talking today. And I want you to still think about, all I'm doing is 3 people. All I'm getting is 3 people. Whenever you have a question, void that question with, but all I gotta do is get 3 people. If you get that down, then you'll realize as he's teaching, as I'm teaching, and we're talking about where it could be, why I have this thing that, wow, I think if you got 3 today, then told them to just get 3 tomorrow. Everyone has $50. Don't let them lie to you. It's not a $50 problem. It's a vision problem. This gentleman is going to talk to you about what is success. So y'all welcome a guy that you know, and I'm gonna say privileged to see, because I don't never take a person for granted, and nor do I take you guys for granted. But success at a level that he's had in this business as well as in his personal life, well, no matter what it is, that's something that's commendable. So y'all welcome Executive Senior Director, our number one income earner, Mr. William Lockett.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Good. Give yourselves a round of applause for coming out this morning. You know, they always say that, you know, half the battle just showing up. Well, that's only half true. But we don't want half reality, right? We want the whole reality. So yes, half the battle showing up, but then the other half is actually taking some action and doing some work. So as Brother Paulie was saying this morning, that we're entrepreneur-minded people that are teaching entrepreneurs. And that's all I know. That's all I know. That's all that comes out of me is nothing but hope, nothing but positive, nothing but confidence, nothing but belief, because that's how I think. That's how I function. And as a result of that, then I get the fruits. So it's not enough to say I want to be an entrepreneur. Then you don't go through the actions of an entrepreneur. So we're all here as entrepreneurs, business owners, looking to better ourselves, move on in life, and do the things that we need to do in order to achieve our personal goals and dreams. Everybody has a goal and a dream in here, right? Yes. And as Brother Paulie also mentioned, that we'll come in contact with people that are walking and breathing, and you have a natural assumption that they have a goal and a dream for their lives. But then when you present them with a real opportunity to actually achieve those goals and dreams, then they start backpedaling. The actions say something different. But you just have to be mindful of that. So whenever I'm teaching, I'm always teaching from the point of view of you developing as a leader yourself, you developing as an entrepreneur. Because as a true entrepreneur, your vision isn't defined based upon what others do or don't do. Your vision is based upon what you believe. See, if you believe it within yourselves, then it becomes contagious. Then you begin to affect other people, where other people begin to be contagious with that same spirit as well. So that's why, bless you, that's why we have to have the confidence within ourselves of why we're here. And then we just go out there and we're just talking to people, just sharing what we believe in, because so many people are walking around here today that really don't have that vehicle, don't have the means to make those dreams a reality, but they're there somewhere. It's just a matter of, you know, igniting that, you know, rekindling that dream again within them with your excitement about what it is that we do. So you have to have the confidence and the boldness in our business. You have to have the belief in our business. You have to have the belief in your vision, because that's what people are going to connect with. Whether our opportunity was free, because at one point it was. Yes, it was. Or whether our opportunity is $5,000, $500. The dollar amount really does not matter. Because even though we have a promotion going on right now at 50, that means that it's affordable to everyone. So why isn't everyone signed up? Because they have to connect with your belief. So from free to freedom, that's what I want to talk about. Because to me, life is truly about being free to live the lifestyle that you desire. Because my motto is that so long as I got breath in my body, God is able to move, and that the desires of my heart aren't there just because they're wishful thoughts, but because that's the reality in the life that God desires for me to live. Because he don't mind us living the lavish lifestyle. He just wants the credit. He just wants the glory. So why limit yourself to the lifestyle that you desire to live based upon external things? based upon other people's reality. So that's why I said you have to be the one. Okay? So love it or lose it. Passion. What are you living for? What gets you up in the morning? You know, what excites you, you know, when you open up your eyes before your feet hit the floor? What you know, thoughts cross your mind? When you wake up in the morning, you say, oh, just another day. Or do you wake up in the morning with the excitement saying, what are the unlimited possibilities that this day represents to me? What can I do today to get closer towards my goals and my dreams? Are you excited about the unlimited possibilities? You know, you come in contact with people and we begin to say all these cliche, you know, statements. Oh, just another day. I'm here. And I'm like, no, man, it's a great day. What do you mean it's just another day? Today you ain't experienced yet. So if you haven't experienced today, why take yesterday's problems in today as though it's a repeat of yesterday? Mm-hmm. So today is new. It's not just another day because this is a day you have not experienced yet. But if in your mind, in your thinking, it's just another day, what you're saying is that today is going to be like yesterday, like the day before. So guess what? It does become just like yesterday because maybe you didn't do anything the day before to get you closer towards your personal goals and dreams. So that means that you have a string of days, months, years of doing the same thing, but then not getting anything different, but still having those dreams and those goals. So after beating yourself down day after day, month after month, year after year, you begin to say, well, I guess this is the life that I'm supposed to live. But I don't subscribe to that mindset. So it's dangerous to not to do what you love. The harsh truth is that if you don't love what you're doing, you'll lose to someone who does. See, good. Me, I can't fit in the modality of the 95 percenters. I just can't. To me, that is death. You know, to work a 9 to 5 to me would just be like confining me, you know, to a sentence of death. And not to knock anybody that's working because that's a blessing because that's how you provide for your family. But the only thing that I suggest that people do is, yes, if that's your main source of income, then looking at what's going on in the world today, then wake up and position yourself in the event that something happens. I mean, because life happens, right? I mean, cars break down, you know, you have death in the family, you know, emergencies come up, you know, you thought you paid that bill, but then all of a sudden you get a disconnection notice and, right. You know, financial emergency arises. And so life is going to happen. So when it happens, how are we position ourselves so that when life happens, like we know it is, that we're in a position to win, that we're on the right side of the equation rather than the wrong side of the equation. Because then to me, that adds more stress and pressure. You know, we're looking at what's going on with the government shutdown, right? Mm-hmm. Well, in my business, you know, I deal with the state. You know, I send my billing to the state. Well, they're always coming up with some genius idea to upgrade the system. But when they do it, there's always some type of kinks. So I don't know if you guys watched the news last week where they did a, you know, piece on the gentleman that has a program. And then they had just implemented this new system through minutes. And as a result of that, the billing wasn't going through. So they interviewed him on the news because that whole day I was frustrated because they changed the system that I was familiar with. You know, my billing wasn't going through. And then here, when I get home, I see on the news that somebody else is going through the same frustration. I just thought that my system wasn't acting fast enough. So I called my carrier. I had them come in with a new line and all of that, right? Just so I could get my billing through. That's right. Then to discover that it was on the state, that the system kept shutting down. So he was saying that if I don't get this billing through, then I can't pay my workers, which won't be able to provide the services to our clientele. and then probably next week I'll be out of business. Thank God I had some reserves,
Mm-hmm.
in my pocket to be able to offset not being able to get paid the last billing cycle. So we didn't miss a beat. But if I didn't have some reserve, then I would have had to go to my staff and like, you know what? The state didn't do this. But then again, that's my business.
Mm-hmm.
What did I do for my business to position it so that it doesn't miss a beat?
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't feel the effect of it. My pockets feel the effect of it. So yesterday, Thursday, and Friday, I was still having the same issue with the billing system because they still haven't worked out all the kinks. But by the grace of God, the last one went through finally. So then I'll be able to still maintain and stay afloat. Mm-hmm. But as business owners, we have to position ourselves so that we can actually predict what's going to happen and be in position. So that's how people need to position themselves in their personal lives. In case tragedy happens, you have some reserves set aside, or you playing it down to the last penny. So when a hiccup happens, then it becomes a major catastrophe. So to me, this business opportunity is an opportunity for people to, do along with what they're currently doing. But if you're not doing anything above and beyond what you're doing, then if you're not positioning yourself, then you end up on the wrong side of the equation. So people really need to pay attention and wake up, because that's all we're here to do, is to free people financially. So for every person who is half-hearted about their work or relationship, there's someone else who loves what they're half-hearted about. This person will work harder and longer. They will outrun you.
Mm-hmm.
I told you guys about a young man that came to me looking for a job from Jamaica. Mm-hmm. I can see that, he's struggling. He's trying to, better himself. I was kind of leery the way he presented himself and the information he gave me, but I, said, okay, I'll give this young man a shot. I said, okay, you ready to work? Take your book bag off and you can start today. So as soon as he started saying, I said, okay, what's going on with this guy? He said, well, can I start tomorrow? Sure. What time do you want to start tomorrow? I said, you can start at 9 o'clock. Well, how about 10 o'clock? Okay, let's go with 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock comes, he's not there. He may have gotten there like 10:06 or something, but I'm paying attention to his character.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't say nothing the first day. The second day, he comes like at 10:30. The third day, I'm like, tell me what time this guy gets in. He didn't get there until like 1:30. So then I gave them instructions. I had already written out his check. I said, tell him we no longer need him. And so when I got in, he was there waiting for me. And he was like, what's wrong? I'm like, I can't depend on you to do a job. I have an expectation for you to be here. I have a time frame that I want to get this done in, and you're not dependable. Well, better late than never.
Whoa.
And I'm sitting like, okay, you're not in Jamaica any longer, right? This ain't, slow and easy, that mentality. But here he is, has the ability, but then he doesn't truly have the desire. So as a result of that, I let him go. And I hope he had, learned something as a result of that, because when somebody hires you to do a job and have an expectation, it's not based upon your time frame. And his response to me was like, well, I don't know the city. I'm not from here. What if you was in Jamaica and you had to be somewhere at a certain time? I don't care where I'm at. If I'm told to be somewhere at a certain time, I'm going to make sure I get there.
That's right.
And it's not going to be a pattern. If the first day I see that the means of transportation doesn't get me there on time, then I'm going to make sure the next day I'm not late. If I have to ride a bike, if I have to take a cab, if I have to learn the bus system, whatever I need to do, I'm going to do it, because that's who I am, versus, well, it's not my fault because my ride didn't come on time. There again, that's the victim mentality. So you have to be in control. as an entrepreneur, it's not up to somebody else. I'm not going to go to my staff and say, well, the state didn't do what they supposed to do. No. Why? Because when you take ownership or responsibility for something, you put yourself in position for a greater promotion. Because you can't function how the world functions. Because if you function how the world functions, guess what? You get what everybody else has. So as an entrepreneur, you have to be creative. You have to be innovative. You have to be resourceful. You have to come up with the creative ideas in order to grow your businesses. And let me tell you a key to that, or a trick to that, or more importantly, the benefit to that, is that now all of a sudden you begin to release creativity, you begin to release juices, you begin to release energy in your life that now not only begins to build your business, but it also begins to spill over in all the areas of your life. Then that's when you have that walking on water experience, because now you begin to elevate above every circumstance that's trying to present itself. You look at situations, you look at circumstances, you look at problems as opportunities to grow. You look at those obstacles as, playing leapfrog, like something that you're going to leap over that's going to elevate you to something greater. So definition of success: outcome, result, degree or measure of succeeding, favorable or desired outcome, the attainment of wealth, favor, or eminence. So success is about going to a higher level. It's about achieving something greater out of life. And again, you naturally assume that people think like this, but you have a lot of people that just have a worker's mentality. As long as they go in, they do their 9 to 5, get their 8 hours in, get that paycheck at the end of the week, every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever the pay cycle is, they're satisfied with that. And in their mind, that may be the success that they're looking to achieve. But the harsh reality is that that's just not enough. Because somebody else is still in control. That at any time, if they deem necessary, they can let you go. So if you understand my mindset is that if they let me go, that's not for my demise, but that's for my promotion. Because I'm the one in control. So therefore, that frees me up to be able to do something else that I was already working on. See, it's not that you wait for tragedy to happen that you prepare yourself. Key words: prepare. Means that you've already prepared yourself in the event that tragedy happens, because you already know tragedy is going to come. Mm-hmm. So you're using preventive measures rather than reactive measures. As an entrepreneur, that's how we think. One that succeeds. So success. The meaning of success comes in many forms and many definitions. It depends on what you are searching for in life and searching for in business. Athletes may have one definition of success, and a stay-at-home mom may have another. A musician may see success as a #1 hit. Doctors may see success as a surgery that went well. It really depends on the perspective of life you have. Perspectives on success are as numerous as the stars. Now, my son, he got a brilliant idea to go back to school to become a doctor. Now, that's something to commend. That's something respectable. But being his father, I'm saying you've already graduated from school, took a break. So if that was the original dream, passion, then he should have been pursuing that from day one. Don't come later on and have an afterthought because you operate in emotion. You see somebody else get a degree, medical degree. Now, all of a sudden, you want to get one. To me, that's a distraction. At this point, like, you're supposed to say, well, I'm passionate about helping people. Then why don't I create my scenario where I can own a hospital and hire doctors? See, I don't have a degree in human service. I don't have a counselor degree at LADC. but I have a treatment program because I have a passion to help people, and I hired the people with the credentials. So that's my way of looking at things and how I function. And so I'm like, okay, son, well, congratulations, good luck. But I wish I would have had a father that was an entrepreneur that had created a business where I could grow up and come up in the business and one day run the business, rather than saying, well, I see what you're doing, but I'm gonna go out here and create my own niche. See, that's where we miss it at in our community. Where you see other communities where they grow up with the expectation that they're going to take over the business. That's what creates and develops the legacy where you see generation after generation. Went to Orville, Ohio for a family member's funeral. Went and visited Smucker's. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but Smucker's jelly is made in Orville, Ohio. Look on the back of the label, Orville, Ohio. And went to, and now they about to buy the whole town. They're gonna change the name to Smuckersville. All the homes that I was familiar with that my family owned in the area I used to play as a child, all them houses are gone. They done leveled and put grass there because they done bought up the whole area. Because Smucker's was the #1 company to work for in America 2 years ago. So they're getting world-renowned recognition. So they don't want people coming in looking at all this poverty. So they're going to change the landscape of the town. But what I was intrigued by was when I went to the store and they showed the history, how it started with the great-great-grandfather and how he just had a cart, but he had a vision. And then it passed on to the next generation, how they all came up in that business. And now they're running that Fortune 500 company. That's the type of legacy that I'm looking to create. So I'm sure they had some individuals that, family members that came in and went a different direction, but it was a family business, and it still is today. And they buy now Procter & Gamble, Jiffy, they have such an extensive product list, products that we're familiar with, that we don't even realize that are owned by Smuckers. Stuff that we consume on a daily basis. So I look at that type of stuff as an entrepreneur because I understand that I'm not going to be here always. But just like that great-great-grandfather, he knew he wasn't going to be there always. But he wanted to leave a legacy so that the next generation would have a step up. But if the next generation doesn't embrace it, then it becomes a lag in the transition. So I look at our J&G business as that type of opportunity to be able to leave a legacy. So I'm looking to build an organization within this company so that when I'm dead and gone, the checks will still keep coming to my children and my grandchildren and my great-great-grandchildren. And the reason why I can feel comfortable and confident about that is because I understand that the ownership of this company has the same vision. So it had to be in the infancy stage. It had to be in the structure that it was even designed and set up to be able to continue on long after we're gone. So the mechanism is already, the machine is already in place, okay? But we still have a role to play because they aren't going to come automatically. They do come automatically, but it's not going to come automatically. That means that we have to do the work for the system to automatically generate the check, okay? Mm-hmm. But what's awesome about that is the fact that the system is designed to do exactly that. Unlike your jobs, when a person expires, it stops. They may have a pension plan, whatever. If they haven't figured out a way to cheat that employee out of it, that the children would get that. But in terms of being paid at that same level, it's not going to happen. But again, with our system, once you build it, it keeps growing. So that means that the income keeps increasing. But we need to start narrowing down an understanding of success. There's a difference between accomplishment, success, and true success. Let's explore this briefly. Accomplishment is where you have engaged in a task or action that you attempted and have obtained the desired results. It is based on what you expected and what the results were done. This is a daily happening in the world and marketplace. People accomplish things all day long, but really achieve no success in those actions. To me, that's like busybodies, being busy doing busy work,
Yep.
but then constantly complaining about being broke. To me, that's like a oxymoron. You know, I'm busy, but I'm not seeing any increase. So that means you're being busy, but not effective. One beautiful thing about our opportunity is that when you really understand what this business is about, you'll understand that it does not matter about the products or services that we have. It's really about you as an individual, because that is what people are buying into. So then when it was free, if you didn't have an explosion, understand that you couldn't even give something away for free that will set people financially free. Now that it's 50, then do you have the influence of at least $50 to convince people to do something that you believe in? So the difference is this: whether or not it's 50, free 50, or even $100 or $1,000, you have to have the wherewithal within yourselves. So don't look at the opportunity. Don't look at even the people you're talking to. Look at yourselves. What do I need to change about me? What is it that I'm not doing that's not correct, that's bringing me the results? Because whether or not it was free or $1,000, is still the common denominator of yourself. So look at yourselves and don't condemn yourselves, because that's the wrong approach. You want to evaluate yourselves so that you can better yourselves to be successful. Not to evaluate yourselves, get discouraged, and say, well, it's not working for me. Because it didn't work for me. I'm sure it didn't work for Paulie when he first started. When he would go on those appointments and people would be no-shows, cancels, that wasn't working. I'm sure if you set appointments and you've experienced that, that's not working. But then when you get encouraged and you begin to self-evaluate yourself, then you say, well, what do I need to tweak within myself in order to become more successful? Now that's about self-improvement. That's about personal growth. So to me, that's what this business opportunity is really about: personal development, so that you can become the people that you were created to be. And I say it all the time. You know, I know as a result of me being in front of the room on Tuesdays and, you know, being a trainer here has better prepared me for public speaking, where I used to have this nervousness, you know, right before I get up. Now it's like, okay, here I go. But it was only, you know, going through the personal development process, going through, you know, the process of conquering the fear. Because when I sat there in the seat, you know, just as a participant, I said, I want to experience the success at the levels of the marquees. So therefore, I need to work on me. I need to develop me. I need to conquer this fear, because I won't sit in the seat and say I want the success of somebody else and not be willing to go through what at least they went through. Because I won't deceive myself like that. Okay. I have to be true to my own self, right? You have to be true and honest to yourself. So if there's some apprehension about getting in front of people, but you desire the level of success, you know, of driving around in the Cadillac Escalade, then you're going to have to kill that flesh. You're going to have to kill that thought and conquer it. But again, you know, like they say, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. Have you ever went through a situation where you was afraid to do something or face some scenario situation and faced it and you said, oh, that was nothing. But what did it do? It gave you confidence in that area. So the next time a similar situation came up, you're like, oh, this is nothing. I already defeated the bear, I already defeated the lion. So how dare this uncircumcised Philistine try to defy what I already know to be true? So again, that gives you the confidence and the boldness to move forward. Because fear is meant to keep you crippled. Fear is meant to keep you small. But there's an internal conflict going on. That fear, what you're trying to keep you small, in your desires and your passion, what you're trying to expand and grow. So you just have to learn to conquer and overcome them. Success is something different. Success to most people is when you have an ongoing string of accomplishments. We'll put together, add up to a major attainment in life known as success. The addition of all the accomplishments in a person's career or life can be viewed as success in their life and business. Now, not to say that, don't go to school, become a doctor, because we need good doctors. But if that's truly not your passion, but you're only pursuing it because of emotion, because somebody else is doing, or because, you think that they make more money, then you won't become the best doctor. You may just become a doctor, but those are individuals that are passionate about something. So I'm trying to speak to your passion. What is it that you're passionate about? Because when you're passionate about something, guess what? You become the best at it. You get promoted, you elevate at it. It's something that you do without tiring. Somebody was asking me the other day, in terms of, me always smiling and being happy. I know I'm within my calling. I know that this is my purpose, to have the treatment program, to be able to speak a word in the lives of people that are struggling. And again, I see my JMG business being right in line with the same purpose, because I know that I have gifts and talents on how to, be an entrepreneur, how to make money, how to trust and have faith, even blind trust and faith, well, it's not blind, because faith is about knowing that something is possible. So I guess I'm just too dumb, not to believe that something is possible, doable. When some educated, intelligent people might say, well, statistically speaking, then that law of averages is that you won't be successful at this. Well, that means that there's a percentage that is. So why not see me in the smaller percent that does, rather than in the large majority that don't? So how do you view yourself? Do you put yourself in the category as the individuals that fail, or do you put yourself in the category of individuals that succeed? See, I just needed to know that one individual did it. So when I met Paul Jones, like, hey, good to meet you. I get out my way. No, but I need your help. Come back. But what I was saying to myself was that I just needed to know that it was doable, that it was real. Other than that, yes, I need your guidance. I need your wisdom. I need your understanding. But regardless, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to quit, because I already see that the goal is real. The prize is real. I just need to make an internal commitment to my vision. So regardless of how big somebody else's vision is, or how small it is, it's really about what motivates you to get out the bed in the morning. But it's refreshing to see that there was another person who had a big vision. So Paulie's vision is so huge that there's room for mine. There's room for yours. And this opportunity is designed to produce at the level that all of our personal goals and visions can be accomplished. But we have a responsibility and a role to play. Success then is an ongoing realization of and obtainment of worthy desired results concerning action, life, business, wealth, or worthy idea. but there is an even higher level of success. There's a more powerful level of high achievement. That is why we call the path to success, success to success. It is biblical that we all move from glory to glory, and we all must move from one level of success to another. Now, let me just get to the essence of what that's speaking to. As they say, make it plain. It's like you start out on a journey, and you already have the destination in mind. So then you have to start this course. But then you may come into a contact with a detour. You may have to make a little adjustment, but then you get back on course. You know, like your GPS system, you know, in your car begins to recalculate when you make a wrong turn. That's what life is to me, because I'm starting here, I'm going there, and I know where I'm going is real, and I believe it. But then I may have to make some minor adjustments along the way, because things just don't work out the way that I imagine that they're going to work out. But does that mean that when I come in contact with that detour, that's oh, I guess it wasn't meant for me to go there. You know, why would God put this roadblock in my way? You know, why would God make this difficult? So I say, well, let me just make an adjustment, get back on course. So to me, when you meet those detours, when you meet those obstacles, like I said, those are opportunities for you to grow, to learn something new, to gain some knowledge and insight, so that the next time you come in contact with that same detour or obstacle, now you know how to respond to it. But if you just have smooth sailing and you don't have any personal experiences on how you actually got there when things get difficult, once you get there, things may become difficult in order for you to stay there. But if you don't go through the process, then you don't know how to conquer and overcome obstacles. So then your success is easily lost because you don't have the wherewithal. See, if I hadn't gone through all the experiences that I've gone through, then I wouldn't know how to deal with the obstacle that's going on with the state. I wouldn't know how to deal with the obstacles when, you know, people try to tell me, no, we're not going to, you know, sell you this property, or there was a property that I had looked at that was like 12,000 square feet, took Brother Paul there. The owners would like sign the POI, you know, then they also shook my hand and said, we have a deal. Then all of a sudden, a community member called. You know what they told them? That I was going to open up a dope house. Who would have a dope house on Franklin and 26, an office building? That's crazy. But then all of a sudden, the conversation began to change from the owners. So once they did that, I said, you know what? As a result of dealing with Brother Paulie, you know, because I know that I could have made it happen. But then I said, you know what? I don't even want to deal with you, because if this is the type of confusion you bring in now, I can only foresee some greater problems. Then I said, Lord, because when you pray about something, God showed you a sign, then you can't overlook the sign. Yeah. But I didn't take that as a, you know, from the understanding that it's not meant for me to expand. I just took that as a sign to say that's not the right location. Then I went back to the drawing board, found a more suitable location for a lot less. So I trust that God has already seen the future and foreseen some problems that I didn't need to deal with. It said, no, I'm gonna close that door, but I have another way of escape. I have another door open for you that's going to give you a better foundation that you can grow from, rather than you going into this bigger situation that you really don't need all that space, that you're just going to be paying for space you don't need, rather than being able to get the space you need and then make the kind of same money, but then not have the large overhead. So do you get my thought process? So I didn't receive it and interpret it as no, that it's not meant for you to grow right now. But I saw that as, okay, God has got something better for me. So I went a different direction. But just like in our businesses, how many of you have thought or come in contact with the people that say, well, I talk to 3 people, I talk to everybody. And nobody wants to do it. Well, that's not true. That's not reality. So my point is that that's the journey you're on. That you talk to your personal network, you talk to, strangers, and you may have not gotten the results that you truly desire. But that's just a detour. Now you need to learn something and grow from it so that you can continue on the process. And going through that process, you begin to gain knowledge of, identifying individuals that are just talking and blowing smoke. You begin to learn yourself. So that's why I always come from that point of view of self-development, because it's not about them, it's really about you. And when you look at it from that standpoint, like I said, don't condemn yourself, educate yourself, so that now you begin to learn more about yourself, learn more about the industry, learn more about people, so that you learn how to conquer and overcome objection with confidence and boldness, rather than when somebody tell you no and you just shrink back and say, oh, this is so hard, this is not working.
Right.
But just like that situation with that property, they told me no, but then I didn't retreat, I didn't shrink, I just found another one that said yes. And so now I'm moving forward with the expansion of my treatment program, because where I'm going is real to me. I'm not going to let somebody control my future and dictate me being able to expand to a $3 to $4 million business, because I need to be on that level. So because my goals and my dreams are on that level, I can't allow somebody else's short-sighted vision to overrule and overturn what it is that I see and I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But if I didn't see it for myself, if I didn't believe it, then I'd be easily swayed by other people's opinions. Everybody got one, but I don't want the opinions of others to become my reality. Mm-hmm. That's why that cash flow quadrant is so powerful to me, because I understand the mindset of the 95%. And because I understand the mindset of the 95%er, I don't think like that. Mm-hmm. I don't do what they do. I want to be with the 5%ers, because they're living at a level that I desire to live at. So if the 95%ers aren't living at the level that I want to live at, why would I want to think like them? Why would I want to be in that category? So even when I was in the 95% category, I was thinking like the 5%ers. So therefore, I didn't listen to the opinions of the 95%ers. And some of them family members. Boy, why you get that college degree?
Yeah.
Why don't you go to work for corporate America? Now, as a result of me not following their instruction, now I live a lifestyle that they're proud of. That they, invite and want to have events at my house. Like it's a hall that they can rent, but ain't nobody paid for it but me. But I just, internally, I just, have joy about it, because I remember when they would say, well, why you need such a big house? Talking about, oh, well, see, I guess you living too high on the hall. When you get knocked down a peg, they see, I told you shouldn't have done that. But let me just share a little personal, testimony. When I lost my two $700,000 homes, and then I was thinking about the family, God said, at least you had the faith to step out the boat. Mm-hmm. That you experienced something that none of them would ever be able to say they experienced. So even though you took your sights off the prize, you began to sink. Because you had the faith, the trust, to believe, to step out. I got you. So never be afraid to go against the grain. Because as they say, the kite doesn't rise with the wind, it rises against the wind. So if you want to go to a higher level, that means you're going to have friction. But that friction is nothing but fuel to take you to a higher level. So if you get uncomfortable when friction comes, guess what? You begin to sink.
Right.
But then too often, the people that encounter that friction and they begin to sink, begin to wallow in fear. That's an opportunity for you to encourage yourself and get back up and learn from that experience and say, well, next time I won't do this that exact same way. Do you understand how the self-development comes in? Now you learn about yourself so that now you position yourself for a greater promotion. So never get discouraged when things don't go exactly how you plan. Never get discouraged when things are difficult. Understand it's nothing but a divine appointment for a promotion. But if you get discouraged, quickly check yourself. Because then you put yourself at the back of the line, you got to go through the process all over again. If you dare to step out of line again. You know, what I mean by that is that, you know, you get daring and you say, I'm going to go for this. And then the first time you step out, you get your hand slapped. Go to the back of the line. But then if you don't dare again to step out of line because you're afraid you're going to get your hand slapped, you're always going to be at the back of the line. It's called true success. True success is simply the realization and obtainment of a worthy ideal or result that your heart is deeply connected to it. It is what bursts passion in your success passion. It is what most people die for. It's why some people explode out the gate and create success easily, and others struggle all their life. They are operating a whole different realm of success and action. See, somebody by the name of Paul Jones dared to come out the gates fast. Not because he's this supernatural human being, but because he dared to believe that it was possible, which now paved the road for others to see that it's possible. So you need somebody to blaze the trail, if you're not a trailblazer, to know that something is possible. So never buy into the lie that it's not possible if somebody's done it. Like the man that broke the mile under 6 minutes, 4 minutes. Until he did it, nobody thought it was possible. But once he did it, then all of a sudden people started beating his time. Why? Because prior to him, it wasn't imaginable. But once he did it, then they said, well, he can do it, I can do it. So never believe the lie that it's not possible, it's not doable. Don't believe the lie that getting a Cadillac Escalade through JMG is not possible. Somebody's already done it. Don't believe that it's not possible to earn a free vacation. Others have already done it. That just means that you have to work a little harder. That means you have to go through larger numbers. But you have to have the commitment and willingness to go through the process. But commit to it, go through it, and eventually you'll achieve it. One of the things that has been an example to me through my life were my grandfather's failures. Because my grandfather was a true entrepreneur. And my grandfather, you know, was in numerous different businesses. And because of my last name, you know, people, you know, that sticks out, Lockett. So I would go into different businesses throughout the city. And then they would ask me, are you related to Ben Lockett? And it'd be like gas station, you know, y'all familiar with the Riverview. You know, so my grandfather, in fact, our song's Chicken Wings. You know, my grandfather was involved in all of these different businesses. And they would say, yeah, we started this business, your grandfather and I, years ago, but he didn't stick through it. But I did. And they became millionaires. And my grandfather passed away broke. So I took that as a life lesson. I learned from that. So that's why I learned to have stick-to-itiveness. That when I start something, I commit to it. Because I don't want the story to be that, yeah, we started this, you quit, and now look at me. So therefore, I learned to commit to something, to see it through. So yes, I've started numerous businesses over my lifetime, but I'm a true entrepreneur because I just learned what works and what doesn't work. But I kept moving towards that goal. Yes, I took some detours, but yes, I kept moving. But yes, I came across some detours, but I kept moving. So even though these detours are coming, I'm still moving forward. But how many people take a step and stop?
Mm-hmm.
Too many people stop at start. It is a success that is soaked with emotion, powered by passion, driven by destiny, and forward with the fire of the heart. You have to have that passion. You have to have that desire in the heart. You have to believe when others doubt. You have to believe when others doubt. If you listen to Brother Paulie, that fuels him. When people doubt him, that gives him the encouragement, the energy he needs to be successful. Because the word of God says that he will prepare a table in the presence of your enemies. That you need some haters to motivate you, to elevate you to the next level. Because if everybody likes you and you get along with everybody, you ain't doing something right. You need to ruffle some feathers. Because that's what's going to give you, the fuel you need to go to the next level. So don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of disappointing people. As long as you don't disappoint yourself. There's no more powerful success than the success that the heart will weld to it by the fire of passion. Then we would say that success and your heart have a definite connection in any type of true success, at any kind that is long term. True success is welded to your heart. So that's why I'm excited about every day. That's why I look so young and beautiful.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I know that I'm walking in my purpose. I don't stress. I don't stress about issues that most people stress about. I just say, you know what, Lord? Show me the way. Because I understand that it's just part of the process. So why, get discouraged while you're going through the process when you already see the end and that's what you're working towards? That's why I love the word of God in the scripture, because the scriptures come to give me encouragement. And when I think about, going through a scenario and not getting discouraged, I think about the Hebrew boys. Their faith in God didn't prevent them from being thrown in the fiery furnace. But it was their faith in God that brought them through the fiery furnace. So that tells me that they were going to be thrown in the furnace regardless. So they couldn't avoid that.
Right.
So just because they believed didn't prevent that event from happening. But it was what they believed is what brought them through. See, most people get thrown in the fiery furnace and then they begin to look around. Boy, it's so hot here. Boy, I can't take this pressure. This is too great. But guess what? They still in the furnace. It didn't prevent them because they was afraid from being thrown in the furnace. But that was an opportunity for them to release faith, not fear and doubt. But because they released fear and doubt, guess what? They still stuck in the furnace. So therefore, I learned to say, well, situations, obstacles are going to come. That is not the time for me to fret. That is the time for me to demonstrate and exercise what I truly believe. Then, as a result of me releasing that faith, then I go through the situation to have more confidence on the other side. Your businesses, the fact that you may be having difficulty isn't going to save you from the difficult times, but it's your faith and belief that is doable and possible that's going to bring you through, so that when you deal with the difficulties of building your business, you'll make it through that process rather than going through a difficult time, quitting, giving up, being discouraged, because that's not going to change your reality.
Right.
So if it's not going to change anything, why give an energy and the power to control your destiny? Why not say, okay, this is an opportunity for me to learn, then learn, then move on. That is why that many athletes and artists have long careers. Their heart is attached to their success. That is why entrepreneurs live longer, many times have long careers. They are operating in their passion, true success power. Many business people today have experienced true success in their life on an ongoing basis. To me, when you become a true entrepreneur and you've gone through the process, it didn't safeguard you from anything, but it insulates you. And then when you have true passion and you're doing what you truly believe in, to me, that reverses the clock of time, because you don't have that Monday morning blues. You ain't stressed out. You know, it gets you excited every day to know that you're going to your business, something that you created. So it keeps those thoughts going, that creativity going, which means that you're releasing something on the inside. So it keeps you feeling vitalized. I mean, you're looking for the challenges of the day. You encourage and embrace the challenges of the day, rather than saying, oh, I got a deadline in my job, my boss is breathing down my neck, you know, I'm so tired of this job, boy, I can't wait till Friday. When you're a business owner, every day is the same. It doesn't matter the day on the calendar. To me, every day is the weekend. Every day is. Because it doesn't matter. Sometimes I don't even realize holidays when they come up, because every day is the same to me. You know, people are like, well, are we getting off this, you know, for Labor Day? What do you mean Labor Day? What holiday? It's a work day. You want to get paid, don't you? Well, if you want Labor Day off, does that mean I don't pay you for that day? Have you? People accomplish things every day. They accomplish results, and more people succeed every day in the marketplace and on the athletic field, as well as professional field. The home field with raising successful children is one of the greatest true success passions there is, but few obtain true success. Why? True success has the passion driven with the heart on fire. True success is birthed from a dream that cannot be denied. It is driven by a hunger that cannot be stopped. It is driven by a focus that is unrelenting. It is driven by actions that will not be contained. And it is driven by a force that knows no failure. Knows no failure. My motto is that you fail your way to success. You fail your way to success. That's the title of my book that I'll eventually write. Fail your way to success. Why? Because you're not a failure unless you quit. You may fail at some things, but those, again, if you've been listening, are opportunities for you to learn what not to do. So you're not a failure if you encounter failing, but you're only a failure if you allow those situations to define you and you quit. That's an opportunity for you to rise above the circumstances of life. That's when you begin to walk on water. That's when you begin to experience that higher level of life and living. Because you're relentless. You're not going to, give in to the pressures of life. You're learning to make adjustments so that you can, make and tweak some things within yourself so that you can elevate yourself above the circumstance. Not to say, oh Lord, it's raining outside, it's cold, it's snowing, I'm not going to work my business today, or You know, I was told no, or somebody, you know, canceled on me, somebody was a no-show. You just learn from those situations, and then you elevate yourself by learning how to better close people. Well, if you sense that they're a person that's not going to show, then say, well, you know what, where you at right now? I'll come to you, you know, or I'll come by and pick you up and bring you to the meeting. Whatever you have to do is what you have to do, period. Because you know no failure. No is not an option for you. Failing is not an option for you. And when you have that confidence and boldness, guess what? It begins to just radiate from you. People begin to sense something different about you. You know, there's something different about you. You know, you hear those comments, there's something different about you. What is it? Man, whatever you're doing, man, you really believe in it. You must know this thing is real. Right. But if you don't learn how to conquer and overcome, when somebody disappoints you, somebody tells you no, okay, you're right. It's not working. That's a lie from the pit of hell. So what is success? That's up to you. But it's not just accomplishment, it's beyond that. The steady realization of moral and worthy ideal is success to most folks. The steady realization of a dream and an ideal that is driven by the heart and passion that will not, cannot, and will never be denied is success to a few folks. Those few folks not only know the meaning of success, but also experience of a deeper and higher level of success. See, when you conquer and overcome situations, now you position yourself and qualify yourself for a greater promotion. You know, as a business owner, you know, you may not be there doing the physical labor work, but mentally you're working. And mentally you can get drained and tired because you're releasing, you're solving problems. Because people come to you with issues and situations every day. You know, that's why I get paid the big bucks. You know, they come to me with a problem, I quickly give them a solution. That's how entrepreneurs think. We think solutions. There's no such thing as a problem. We only see opportunities to solve a situation. That's it. Where other people may see problems, and we know what we do with problems. We worry, we fret with problems, but with opportunities to solve a situation, now you release creativity. Now you release those juices so you can say, well, you know what? Have you thought about doing it this way? This is what you need to do. Now all of a sudden, you don't feel that pressure. You're not sitting there, you know, contemplating, just thinking on the problem. You're releasing creativity to come up with the solution. And that's how wealth is created, solving other people's problems. But as an entrepreneur, we just see opportunity. They are driven by success, not just pursuing it. And within that little difference is the meaning and power between success and true success. See, it's not enough just to have an ideal that, yes, this is the life I want to live. It's about pursuing the life that I want to live and committing to that process and never giving up, never getting discouraged, being passionate about the process. That's another trick. Be excited about difficult times. Get excited. I mean, the word tells us so long as we're in this world, trials and tribulation will come upon us, but he's able to deliver us out of them all. So when difficult times come, why do people get discouraged and think that they ain't got it? Right. That's an opportunity for you to release your faith. So when obstacles come to me now, I rejoice. I celebrate. Lord, I thank you. Why? Because just like Job, he had confidence and trust in Job that Job was able to deal with those problems, those situations, that tragedy in his life. And what did Job do? How did he respond? He said, you know what? I came in this world naked. I'm going to leave out this world naked. God was the one that gave me all of this. So if he sees fit to take it away, who am I to question that? But he didn't lose faith. And as a result, he was blessed. 7, double for your trouble. Okay? 7-fold blessing. But situation will come up, right? Learn to rejoice when they come up. Because obviously, God believes that you can deal with it. You know that each and every one of us within our DNA was created to be able to deal with every situation that has confronted you in your lifetime. Because the word also tells us he won't put more on us than we're able to bear, right?
Right.
So when a situation comes that seems to be greater than what you can handle, know that you can handle it. Because within your DNA, you was encoded to handle that situation. But also understand that you were encoded to handle that situation, not just for your own benefit. You was encoded to handle that situation so that you could be a witness to somebody else that doesn't have your DNA, that won't be able to handle that difficult time, to be able to be a witness to them, to encourage them to make it through.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every one of us are unique individuals.
Yeah.
Each and every one of us is at different levels in life. Each and every one of us have different backgrounds. So even Brother Wallace, somebody else that won't be able to survive in their retirement is waiting for Wallace to blow up so that they can look at Wallace and say, well, he's about my age. If he can do it, I can do it. Because somebody else may not be able to make it through, but they need it. And they need his testimony to be the encouragement they need in order to have the confidence to make it through. God is the ultimate networker. He uses people. He uses us to bring about his design in the earth. So when you begin to receive and understand that you're nothing but a vessel, then be in a position to receive. Don't put a lid on yourself. Don't close yourself off. Just be receptive to receive with the understanding that there's greater for you and that you're going through a process to be a witness to somebody else that can't make it through the process. So you get encouraged and you stay encouraged because you know that you're able to make it through because you have the DNA encoded in you to make it through. The limit to your abilities is where you place it. You have all the weapons you need. Now fight. Because you got to fight for what you want. It just ain't going to happen. Because why? Because there's an adversary out there roaming around like a roaring lion. That's trying to block you and keep you from your blessings. So if you understand the fight that we're fighting, the game that we're playing, then you also understand that you've already won. So when you're going through the battle, it's like watching a rerun. What is it, DVRs, where they record, so you can fast forward to the end and see who wins. Then you can back up and watch the game from the beginning. It's like that. Your life is on DVR. You've already won. Now, with the confidence of already knowing the outcome, now you play a little differently. You play with some more boldness and confidence. Yeah, that's all right. You got me that last play, but you know what? I know we're going to win. Mm-hmm. That's the confidence you got to have, that you know that you already won. So now you just have to go through the motion with the confidence knowing that you already won. But if you don't know you already won and you're going through the process and you get discouraged and you quit, like your future said, why'd you quit on me? I'm sitting here waiting on you.
Right.
But you didn't believe it. So you got discouraged and you went and sat on the bench. Man, this is a hard game. But if you learn to fight, you learn to have that tenacity, that drive, that confidence, that boldness, saying, you know what? I already know. I don't know the name of the teams, but when they had the playoffs and that young man broke his leg or his arm, his knee, it was nasty. They kept playing this over and over again. You could just see it. that motivated them, that changed the game for them, that encouraged them. They went out and they won for that young man. But they always had the ability to win, but they need some type of encouragement to know that they can win, or use that as motivation to win. So what is your reason to fight? That's why your dreams and your goals have to be real to you. Your families have to be real to you. You know, Wallace, use that as motivation. There's somebody out there in your age bracket that won't be able to survive on a retirement, that need you to be successful, to show them that it's doable. Use that as motivation, you know, to help somebody else. And I know it's your grandchildren that you motivated to help, you know, but use somebody else outside of your family. You know, I'm doing this for them. Because the word says what you may happen for others, God will make happen for you. And don't quit and give up for them, for their sake. Be what God created you to be. God said, let there be, and it was. So, since we're made in the likeness and image, be successful. Don't question it. Don't doubt it. Just be. And in being, you're going to meet difficulties. But that don't change who you be. You still be you. Believing that you're successful. More than a conqueror, above and not beneath, blessed coming in and going out. God said, let there be, and there was. So be. And there was. See, you have to see the end from the beginning. Then go to the beginning, commit to the process, do the work to get to the end. So you start from the end at the beginning. You start with the vision and the goal of what got you in this business. And whatever that end is what you have to keep in the forefront of your mind. Then when you back up and you start working your business, you stay focused on that end. So when you meet difficulty, that don't move you because you focus on the end. You're working on something. You're going towards something. You stay encouraged because you already seen the end. You already seen the end of the movie. You know how it's going to end. So don't allow nothing to come in between the beginning and the end to rob you of your end that you already believe. So then if it doesn't happen, who gave up on who?
Right.
You gave up on your vision. Rather than your vision not being obtainable, you gave up on it. Mm-hmm. So we just have to keep working, keep believing, keep being. Be successful. Free to freedom. What is it? Be successful. I hope y'all got something today. I hope you're encouraged, motivated to grow and work your businesses. Stay committed on your why, the reason why you're doing this business. Understand that you just have work on yourself. There's nothing we need to change about the plan. I'm thankful that the company keeps trying to make it easier for us. But let's not make it difficult on ourselves by complicating it. It's simple. It's simple. With the promotion, $50 to get in. They get in for $50. Do it within a 7-day time frame, and they get $50 back. So them to do the exact same thing, they get $50 back. So how much is it costing people? Nothing. We just say build it down 7 levels so you can get over $5,000 a month. So again, it is free. But if people stop, and $50 ain't a lot of money, but I can't judge what's in people's pocket or what's not in their pocket. But we know that people support and find money for whatever they believe in. So what is going to motivate somebody to come out of their pocket $50 to go get $50 which cost them nothing? What's going to motivate them to do that? Your belief in this business. Cool. So whether it's free, 50, 300, 5,000. Only thing that's going to move people to action is your conviction and your belief in what it is you're talking about. That's why I focus on self-development, because it has nothing to do with the company, it has nothing to do with the products. It has everything to do with you and your belief in yourself, your vision. So when you're talking to somebody about this opportunity, talk to them about your vision, your goal, why you're doing this business, and how you see this business as a catalyst to make that a reality. Because people can relate to visions. Well, what's your goal? What would you like to do with your life? Well, one day I hope to. Well, you know what? One day I hope to, and the way I see me getting to that one day is through this business. And let's move with a sense of urgency. Because we live in now, right? So why not realize our dreams and goals now? Rather than saying next week, next month, next year. Let's do it now. Let's move now with a sense of urgency. So the next trainer I want to bring up is the individual that has motivated me, encouraged me. And like he's often says that sometimes the motivated need motivation. Because sometimes when you're as an entrepreneur and you're on your faith journey and people haven't achieved a certain level, it becomes lonely. You know, they don't understand, you know, the mindset and the heart of a true entrepreneur. And if they don't, when you begin to share your dreams with individuals, they'll try to poke all kinds of holes in it. But this is the individual, a unique individual I've come across with that I know God has placed in my life in order to expand and grow me. Because if you're the smartest in your circle, you need to change circles. You know, so when I hear his ideals and dreams and goals, I'm like, yeah, that motivates me to expand my goals and dreams. You know, put me to the test so I can grow and expand. Because if not, you become dormant. You begin to dwarf yourself. You know, so I want you guys to stand to your feet. Welcome my friend, my brother Paul Jones.
Y'all give it up to Brother Lockett. So y'all need to take a quick bathroom break. I'm with that. I want y'all to be on point with me so we can get this in. So those on home, I'm gonna give you like a minute. So you got like a minute to go do your thing and all that. Then I'm gonna get up into it real good. Yeah,
Get into it real
good. Yes, ma'am. Uh-oh.
Because I was looking, I said, so I kept telling my friend, but she said, I heard that thing before. I said, yeah, you don't know the news. When you have them kids over north with the schooling, that's why I never seen you on 60. I'm like, that's why I saw it.
Yeah, they don't teach you.
I'm like, okay, now. And so then I saw it. I'm like, wow. See someone.
Small world, see?
Yeah, it is. I'm not going to meet the person that really actually.
Oh, well, I'm out here for real.
I see.
real. Just ready to serve and help people get ahead. That's what it's all about. You know, it's one person help the other, then all of a sudden everybody.
You know something, what I do is, like the school kids, like little ones, even when my other kids are small, I always got extra, like 2 or 3 extra backpacks. You know, always got someone on the block, but their parents didn't get a chance to check them come the same time, or they didn't get a chance to get their kids everything. So I buy extra backpacks and I fill them up with the stuff that they need, like if it's a 5th grader, the calculator, the paper, pencils. And I give it to the extra kids. You get a chance to get them this year.
Go. All right, those online, I'm gonna go ahead and get busy so we can respect everybody's time. And those who gonna get it, they're gonna get it. And those who don't get it, they just don't get it. That makes sense? All right, so here we roll. I wrote up here, and I want each and every one of you to write this down too. The law of large numbers. If any of you are subscribed to my weekly e-zine that I send out every Monday, you'll see at the bottom of it certain sayings that I've come up with over the years. You know, one is life is simple if you want it to be. You know, another one is success isn't an accident, it's always planned for. Another is people do not fail, they give up. And I'm gonna repeat that one. People don't fail, they give up. See, if we, as I came up early before we started, I said, if you really look at the concept of what we have, if all you're doing is 3 people and then helping them go ahead and bring in 3 people, then we have one of the most convenient businesses on the planet, in my opinion. You're not in a form of sales where, let's take a real estate agent. That real estate agent, they may make 3,000 to 5,000, some even 10,000 per sale, per transaction, but their income is only based on how many sales they have. I know those who would sit back and hype themselves up to me and, you know, Brother Paulie, and I'll tell people, quit using this word to me, because then if you don't do it, then I know you lied to me. The Lord called me to get into real estate. And I'm like, so I'm gonna get my license and I'm gonna go sell real estate. And I look at him and say, that's harder than this. I'm like, you gotta, for one, find a person that wants to buy a house that can qualify. It's a 3-month ordeal. I promise you, it's a minimum of 3 months to get the client to the closing table. So if the average person on closing is $2,000 to $3,000, well, you did something that took 90 days to 120 days to make 3,000 or 4,000. I'm like, you would have had more success working at McDonald's. So we must understand the law of large numbers. It is not that this business or anything is hard. When you see successful people, they took one thing, in fact, the law of large numbers. That's something I didn't come up with. It's something that I understood. I said, it's one thing you can get out of me, is I'll be the first to admit that I'm a geek. I am an information geek. If you beat me at something, if you outsmart me, you will outsmart me that one time. We may tie the race the next time, because I don't care if I get you. But when we cross that line, I'm like, I'm right here with you though, Doc. You know, that's the point. It's not about always winning a race, but it is about not getting left in the race. So when we understand that, if this really, let's just speak on laws. There's a law of gravity, right? There's a law of eating. If you don't eat, you will die, right? That's a law. If you don't drink water after so long, you would die. In fact, there's another law that says if you sit in the same spot for too long, you would die. A human, healthy person, that's a law. So that's why you have to stay moving. Anything that sits idle too long dies, including a healthy person. So you can get through running a marathon, you can do whatever you want to do. And then you say, okay, now sit in the same spot for 3 days, don't move. That person will pass away. You understand this? Laws. I want you to get this basics down so when we talk about success, then it's like if it's a law of large numbers, what you have to realize is a lot of times people make the mistake of missing out that we've already trained how to succeed in this business. And then I hear people say, well, I'm trying to figure it out. I got another question. I'm like, sometimes you can't question it. You just have to do it. Do you understand this? You know, you can't. I remember telling my daughter one time, it's like, we got a dog. Your job is to go pick the poops up for the dog. Sometimes we would get in conversation and say, hey, hold on. You just got to go do it. You can talk, you can come up with whatever, but nothing happens. Your job is not complete until you actually go do what you're supposed to do. So here we are, JMG Net Worth, a business, a real easy business. We control the gauntlet. But it's one thing I'm not in control of is your daily actions. That's what you're in control of. That's a law. So if you only speak to one person a day, knowing I've done the training that says speak to 3 people a day, not sign them up, literally go out and meet 3 new people a day. I myself have studied this. I'll guarantee you'll sign up at least a rep a week. But when you get so busy doing everything else in life that you forget to do this or that bears more value, because you got to understand you'll do what's valuable to you. And we all know it's a fear thing. You have to conquer your fear. So I'm not afraid to get up here, but at one time I was. But when I tell you the story of starting off in the projects, it's not to feel sorry for me. It's to get you to relate that I didn't grow up with money. Does that make sense? So I myself had to be the first to go make more than $4,000 a month. Not crazy money. You will be the first in your family probably to make more than $5,000 a month. So if everyone in your circle, the tops they've ever made is $2,500 a month, you got to really stop for a moment and say, hold on, really? $2,500 a month? So the minute you come through saying 1 cent more, then they understand you got to draw that line. You know, when you see a line and say, now you're thinking above the line. It doesn't take much to think above the line, but the minute you do that, be mindful to watch the people, because you're in the people business. Do y'all get that part? Mm-hmm. You're in the people business. Some people say, I'm in JMG, I'm in this, I'm in that. You're still in the people business. Those who get the basic concept, and that's what I want us to get today, is the basic concept of this. Then you realize that, wow. So in fact, there's a law that says it's impossible for me to fail. That's correct. So instead of saying well, this person don't want it and that person don't want it, if you're ever in a conversation with me, you'll see me quickly get out of that conversation because I already know the law. I'll tell people, it's like, you know what? You can do it in 7 days. Then you'll have somebody else. Well, you know, that's just not realistic. Excuse me, don't talk to me. That's a law. You create your environment. That's a law. If I wanted to tell myself I was sick and believe it, I would mentally make myself sick. Do y'all get this? So I want us to get so involved with who you are as a person and understand how God made the universe. Then once you understand, it's like, right. So man came in and told me things had to fit in this spectrum. But the real spectrum was already created. So when I told a person that I wanted to make more in a month than the average person made a year, I remembered. They laughed. Yeah, those things, they get you to believe all that. Once I actually started studying the laws of numbers, keep in mind, you've heard me say many times, I study wealthy people. And when I study wealthy people, it always leads me back to the law of numbers. And I'm like, oh man. So it's that many people are unwilling to actually go through the law of numbers. So I look at it as, you can say my mentor, Dr. Martin Luther King, besides Miss Harriet Tubman. Well, there were many other ministers before him who tried to spark a civil rights movement. Y'all understand that? He was just one who had enough people with him, and he did it enough times where they finally got results. You get that? We still know the end result, but it's a matter of are you willing to go, knowing that somebody just don't want you to succeed. So when we speak of the adversary, I'm not speaking in a biblical sense. I'm speaking to say even he had an adversary, whatever that was that shot at him for trying to free people. Then you put yourself in that position and realize that, okay, you still have to play in the law of numbers. Well, as you push to free people, there's another force that comes back, right? No matter what. So it isn't that everything is hard. It's a law. You step out to do more comes back at you. When you understand it, you laugh at it. Matter of fact, you expect it. Where I'm actually surprised when people are surprised that it's hard sometimes. I'm like, what? You thought just $1 million was just going to land in your lap? So it doesn't work that way. But my question is, who really, not a hyped up speech, told myself, stay calm. Don't be so motivational, but I want to communicate with you. Who really wants to be a millionaire? Not who really wants to tell me the problem of somebody else. I can look online at every suburb and inner city in the country and point out problems. But I don't want to be there anyway. So why am I studying that? I realized that if I want to fix that, I can't be a part of it, and that's the only way I can fix it. So therefore, I did exactly that. Then I took my own money, not lobbied for somebody else's, took my own money and went and gave it to kids. You get that? It's easier that way. So now I go and tell others, hey, this is how I did it. What? I told someone to get 3 people. And then what? And they told somebody to get 3 people. Yeah, but that was because of that. It was because we believed. But one thing you got to understand is I already knew we would make it because the law already exists. There's a law that says if you put a gun to your head and pull the trigger, you're pretty much going to be dead. That's a law. It's suicide. There's also a law that says if you actually do the work, you'll succeed. And it does not matter who you are, what your background is, or anything. That's why you have great success stories. A success story is a person who understood the law and stuck to the law and did it, not a person who tried to relate with somebody who's not doing the law. So I made a decision to not be around people who don't do the law. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So therefore, if I form an organization of people who follow the law and become law-abiding to the universal system, not the man-made system, the man-made system will tell you after 8 hours you put a day's work in. That is not the original law when it comes to working and success. That is the law that man has accepted. That same law put certain men in control of other men also. Do y'all get this? But when you understand the universal law, then you're like, okay, if you do this enough, you will eventually succeed. So let me back my theory up. You've heard of WD-40. Yeah. It stands for water displacement 40. The chemist who was working on that failed 39 times. He got it right on the 40th attempt. You've heard of Formula 409. He got it right on the 409th time. Do you get this? So imagine a jet engine, but a jet engine in 1100 BC. That's just not what? A jet engine? Huh? Okay, now a jet engine, 1100 AD. It still wasn't imaginable. It wasn't, but it didn't mean it couldn't happen. Now we go to 2013. Is a jet engine normal? It's so normal today that to speak of life not having it seems unnormal. So therefore, if you understood that, then that means you have to have your life of success be so normal. To speak of life unsuccessful is unnormal. And if it's just a law, I just want you to pardon me for a moment. If it's just a law, then you don't speak to 3 people. How many people did we say in the first 48 hours to speak to? 10 people. and that was to set appointments. If you're caught doing a business presentation on the phone, you're already dead. You cannot read a person. They're sitting there on the phone. They may not even be listening. They're looking at TV. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. All right, yeah, I'll be there. Then they don't show up. But I like looking you dead in your eye. I like to see you squirm. I'm gonna ask you a difficult question. And that difficult question may be, you got $200. I know you only need 50, but I'm gonna ask you for more than that. I just want to see, hey, if the life you wanted could happen, and all you needed was $200, how fast could you come with $200? I mean, yeah, it all depends. I didn't ask you that. You get this? So you be the detective then. If you're hauled in for something that was possibly done wrong because the law was broken, that detective is going to ask you questions, and there's laws even in the patterns of how you answer questions. Laws that you may not even be mindful of. So therefore, they'll say, where were you between this time and this time? Well, if you don't seem to know where you were, then they are really going to fill in the blanks. You get this? So if you're asking a person to be somewhere at this time and this time, and they don't seem to know, well, then filling in the blanks, they're not going to be there. Does this make sense? I always tell people, there's a law even on Fridays. After 3 o'clock on Friday, I doubt if you put it right. I've been doing it that long. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's like it just doesn't happen. Why? Because people have happy hour mentalities. Something happens in the summertime. Think about it. You're already groomed. You're trained. Summertime, what happens? Vacate. So, although your job is not saying you're on vacation, we mentally vacate. So we stop doing the certain things. Now, if you want to get ahead in life financially, you know what I do? I work even then. Matter of fact, I work harder than them. Because I'm like, well, they sleeping. When others are sleeping, you be working. So therefore, when they wake up, you have something to offer them. But if you wake up when they wake up, y'all on the same playing field. I don't want to work with sleep people. So, I mean, do you really need 8 hours of sleep? Some people maybe do. If you really get my text message or anything and see some of my posts, that's at 4 or 5 in the morning. I'm already up. Matter of fact, I'm up and I want things to happen. Then I'm frustrated because everybody else ain't making it happen because they sleep. My wife would tell me, go out to the couch. All right. I go out there. She's like, what was you cooking this morning? I'm like, I was hungry. It's like, why? I'm up. My juices are flowing. And it just hit me this morning. I'm laying there and I'm like, the simplest way to success or the simplest way to solving a problem is asking for help. I'm just like, man, it just, to me, it seems easy. So I'm going to bring this up here. I don't want you to get immune to looking at this. This graph is real. If you have been on this side for 90 days and you knew about this graph, then that means there's a law you're not following anymore. So you have to be at peace. If you get frustrated because somebody isn't going to follow the law, then they just strung you down the wrong path. I don't get mad at people. I move on from people. Many of you heard me say, I'll walk off from a person in the middle of their speech. Because why? I understand the law. Your speech pattern tells me you're not going to do anything. And this is what I do for a living. God bless you. I got to go. It's like, why? I'm wasting time with you. And I don't care about what you have to say at that point. Oh, that's rude. No, it's rude for them to know where I'm going. And can I get a minute of your time? No. It's a law. If I stay at this pace, I'll arrive where I want to be by a certain time. Did that make sense to you? I gave you the scenario a few weeks ago, I guess. I want to go from here to Chicago. If I get on the highway at 50 miles per hour, then according to the law, I'm going to arrive in Chicago at the ratio divided by the time and whatever that gets me there by 50 miles per hour. But if I go 70 miles per hour, I get there a little faster. It's a law. You're not having struggles in your business. It may be that you're not going for the large numbers. You're not speaking to enough people. But it ain't this. Some people I sit there and watch, it's funny. They'll go from this company to another company. And they don't realize that sometimes I do be sitting there watching them because I'm like, It ain't. People do it in marriages too. It ain't the marriage. It ain't the business. It's you. It's like, why? You think going over here with the same character trait is going to actually help you change the game? It's like, no, you are you. Wherever you go, there you are, Pastor Randy always says. And I'm like, it's real. Wherever you go, there you are, because you bring your mentality into a wealth central. This is a prosperity culture. So when we come in here, we are forced to think bigger. And if a person's offended because you talk bigger language, understand and respect that and move away from them. Because once a person has obtained the spirit of offense, they're no longer listening to you. That's why I walk off. Remember at a Tuesday night, one time, this young lady was telling me how busy she was, how busy she was, how busy she was. The only thing I heard was, there is nothing she's going to do to build JMG. So I said, hey, God bless you. God, good for you. God bless you. I'm done talking. It's like, why? I get it. You're not going to do the business. And I haven't seen her since. And it's like, why? After 17 years of doing this, don't you think I've heard that speech before? And I'm like, it's a law of numbers. If you do the same thing over and over and you let people tell you the same line over and over, you're the idiot. I just sit back and be like, I'm going to let you believe that, but I don't believe you. Matter of fact, because I don't believe you, I have to move. I have to keep going, because if you stand around a contaminated area, eventually that spirit gets into you. Remember, if you read my books, Quitters, Campers, and Climbers, they're all leaders. When a person is ready to quit, they will lead others to quit. Likewise, when a person's ready to succeed, they will lead others to succeed. But it's not Paul Jones, it's a law. This law was here before any of us was born. The law was here. So right now, 95% of the population shares 5% of the wealth. Funny, the population grew. We all can agree with that. At one time we said 6 billion people, now they say it's 7 billion people. The billionaire ratio also grew. Now it's 461 billionaires, but before it was only 300 billionaires. You get that? So I'm like, oh, the law didn't change. More people? It's like, yeah, so if there was 10 billion people, then there would probably be 550 billionaires, but the numbers would be the same. So my question to you is, what are you doing to get to this side? Truthfully, don't lie to me. I already know the truth. I only look at numbers. Miss Shelley will leave on my desk in the morning when I get there. She's usually there before me, thank God. And I look at numbers and I just shake my head and say, that's impossible if the person's working. Do you understand that? For you to have a 0 for a week means that's a large amount of laws broken. And I even look at that and said, well, then they're not even going to. If you're going to the same 3 people, well, I got this guy that's interested. The minute they're interested, yeah, you'll do the follow-up email. I'll do that too. You do the follow-up email. But you have to make sure that your follow-up email list grows too then. You get that? Your follow-up email cannot be the same next week as it was last week, because this week you should have spoke to new people. So therefore, those 7 people who didn't do it will go to the follow-up email group. Your follow-up email group will be huge. Do you get this? It will be so big that you will be like, wow, because you're documenting everything. So you have your group that's going, and then there's a promotion put on. It's like $50, get $350 back, have them get $350, and you'll be like, look at the potential. But if you don't even have potential, then that means not only were you not doing the law, you ignored it. You just said, yeah, I'm just in the business. And I'm saying, no, don't just be a part of something. Make the movement have to mention you. If we are known for creating millionaires, make other people say, man, if it wasn't for, and they say your name, not mine or Williams, if it wasn't for this person helping me. Because you have to all become great leaders, branching out, holding your weekly trainings, weekly meetings, and all of that across the country. Then they'll look back. You need to be flying around the country saying, hey, I'm getting on a plane. I got a group in Texas now. Then they're welcoming Fred. It's like, oh, we got Fred here. They'll be asking you, Fred, man, what's Paul Jones really like? Because you with him all the time. You're like, oh, man, dude, don't go eating with him because he'll eat you. You know, you can crack jokes. So we know about me. And I'm actually use the credibility. If somebody's gonna hate, they're gonna hate. Y'all get that? Some people actually have a problem with a black owner of anything. But then we have to go back to the law. Some people wanted blacks to enter the back of the restaurant. Am I right or wrong? Some people said blacks get on the back of the bus. Am I right or wrong? Some people said blacks cannot be a president of the United States. Break those laws and follow this law, the law of large numbers. Founded in 2008, still debt-free, and I'm gonna focus there. We were founded October 28th, 2008. What month is this?
October.
We're about to be 6 years old, and we're underperforming. Only because it's the law. 95% of the rep base is African American. That wasn't written in the plan. That's just people do what they see. I respect that, love that, and I'm down with it. But I'm saying you're not going to sit here and make me say it's just because it's black folks we're not successful. No, what I have to do is say, black folks, quit making excuses and actually go get to work. Because there's a law that says you'll beat apartheid. Go talk to Mandela about that, the law. Time had to go on. Numbers had to pass. Do you get this? He wasn't the first one to battle apartheid. He was the one that when the number hit, he was standing there and he kept his integrity the whole time. You have to speak to people, new people, daily, and you're millionaires. Convenience and lifestyle. Yes, we are the first company to offer food, real food. As I said when we started, we won't be the only one. Simple as that. I promise you, within a year, you'll look and you'll, oh, I saw another company that someone else brought to my attention that had food, and they even said 5-star quality restaurants. So I did a little investigating and like, oh, I know that guy from Excel. And I'm like, dang, they don't look like me. They'll even have me come and consult some of their companies. And they say, man, that guy comes up with some brilliant ideas. He's right. People have to eat regardless. And I'm like, why don't you just come sign up with us? But that motivates me to say, y'all, it ain't none of that you think. It ain't prejudice. It ain't racism. It ain't, don't get caught up in that mess. That'll bring you a victim. It's follow the law. The law of large numbers says if everyone does their part, you're all going to make it. So we know the concept here. I'm going through the presentation as a training. We all know the concept. What are the benefits? People going to eat, they get rewards. Let's go. That's the food. Can't mess that up. My goal for this is to make it more transparent to function online because that's where the future is going. I am so online minded that more than you probably realize. I study the future. It's not about 2013 with me. Some of you may be stuck in 2013. I'm in 2020 right now. Then I come back to 2013 and say, follow the law. Come on, let's go. But if we don't project ourselves out, then other companies who may have a little bigger budget will come in and say, oh, we see where he's going. Boom. It's like we'll see that some of the trainings I'm doing, including Wednesday night Bible studies, people who are not associated with us, that I know have wanted me to come consult or come train for other companies, they'll be online. And then I'll see my same materials in other companies. And I'm like, wow, I just taught that about 4 months ago. I'm like, did they start doing that? A month ago. I'm like, they go archive that. But sure enough, that whole corporate staff of that company was on my webinar. They're like, ain't that a trip? So then I sit there like, hey, y'all, 3 people. So why? It doesn't matter because they don't know, other people don't know the person you're walking by. Who cares if the person's like, what are you trying to sell? I ain't trying to sell nothing. I'm following the law. I need to know if you want to make some money or not. Yes or no? Great, next. You want to make some money? Yes or no? Great, next. You see that? But if you're like, I'm afraid of what they're going to say, screw them. You don't even know them. I never had that problem. I'm like, when I was a skinny dude, I was in front of the room. I'm belly big, I'm in front of the room. It don't matter. It's like, why? Bills got to get paid. So what we offer, let me tell you the vision of the service. Imagine everything being on your phone. Yeah, you'll have a base where you'll go online and do certain things, but imagine truly a person going to their phone, signing up for the My Financial Work Service, and doing a one button click. Imagine the bill not even coming through our system, going through whoever the wireless carrier is. Is that how you pay for any other app? It's like, okay, $29.95 a month. This goes on your AT&T bill. This goes on your Verizon bill. This goes on there. See, I see where this thing needs to go. Or if we say, all right, we'll somehow connect it, we'll do the billing, it's on your phone. But now you go in and you're literally live in real time looking at your credit at that moment to know precisely at this precise moment. So you walk into a car dealership doing this. Okay, this is where I really sit. I know where I'm at. You know, that's that. This is that. So from there is what will you do? And I'm like, I want us to realize that I want this company to grow because I have bigger plans, but it makes it easier for you. So now you're sitting at that dealership and you're saying, well, what do you offer? And then they come back and they tell you what rate they're going to give you. And then you click a button through your My Financial Work Service. You put in the same numbers they're putting in, and then you have your loan instantly. And you say, well, let me see what you offer because I already know right now what I can get. So can you beat this? No. Okay, great. Now I'll transfer this information over to you, dealership or home mortgage or anyone, and we'll pay it. See, that doesn't exist, but it does exist in my archives. Now, if you're trying to jack my stuff, I'm watching you now. But y'all get the point? So when it comes time to paying your rent, your mortgage, everything, I want it to be boom, one click right there, and it's through My Financial Work Service. So your credit, it's like, bing, you got an issue, attack it right now. Y'all get this? Anything is there. So from here, all I can do is say, hey, imagine taxes. It's online. If you're using the system, you're logging in daily, and boom, everything's there. I just want you to see the vision. So now people hear about this awesome service that has all these other components built in behind it to support it. So you're like, okay, well, yeah, this company will actually help me buy the house. Why? Because every month it's archiving what would be a portfolio for you. So when you go into a bank to buy a home, so you guys know how it works, they're going to build a file on you. What if there was a system that said, that's constantly searching and says, this is what you're qualified for? Because as this bank changes, as the interest rate changes, then your phone can say, hey, right now, you can qualify for this. Now you have a real active goal to work towards. Or if you can get your credit score to this and your debt limit down to this is what you qualify for. I want you to see exactly what it is. So an active system that works with you is where we're going. But see, it's not about me taking another $300,000 and saying revamp the system. It's saying build the people, take the money from the profits, and turn it over and make the system stronger and stronger. We will be the #1 company, period. So now as that same system is archiving your information for you because it's telling you how much you make, whether you're a GMG rep or not. It's got all the system archived for you because everything in the future is in the clouds, right? You heard things cloud-based. We're right in line for that. So you want a house, you want a car, whatever it is you want, you know you're knowledgeable of the best possible rate for yourself. Taxes need to be done, a system that's smart enough to tell you, hey, this is what you have to do on the fly with your taxes. Programming your own travel mileage, programming everything so it all fits in. So your taxes and bookkeeping is done daily versus getting to the end of the month. I've been a business owner for a long time. You get to the end of the month, the end of the year, and you got all these receipts and you're trying to give it to an accountant and be like, okay, you figure it out. And it's like something is going to get missed. We will have the smartest system. And I'm saying, I'm not looking to go anyplace else to get a different investor or different this. I'm saying, I just want you to go make $5,000 a month. So as we have this right here, 50, you, 3 people, go from there. $29.95 a month. Marketing affiliate, $50. We know $50 isn't no money. But as William said, we used to be like, let's do it free, and they just pay the $29.95. What it is you have to find people who are tired of the struggle, but they really mean it. And then from there is, I am the birds of a feather flocking together. I love and respect everyone, but I don't want to struggle in life. So therefore, if I'm going to struggle, I'm going to struggle with someone to get them out of the struggle, not struggle to get someone to get out of the struggle. You know, get this. If you are begging, I won't even talk to a person once you're on the phone in a presentation. If you've ever had me do one, I will start closing my computer up because it's sometimes you just got to let business be business, right? If I'm doing a presentation and you're asking questions in the process, that means you're not listening. Do y'all get that? That's like being in a college course and a person's constantly raising their hand. The professor would eventually be like, will you like take notes, organize your questions or your theories? Because when people say, well, yeah, but what if the person don't get 3? You know what? You're going to be broke for the rest of your life. But I don't want to say that to them. But it's a law. So all you're doing is quoting the law. You're going to be broke for the rest of your life. Get out of my way. It's like, why? I am not called to you. It's like, why? I understand the law. And I'm not emotionally caught up with it. So if you're not willing to go do this, then you're wasting time. So that alone, you're $30 to $50 a month. A person right there is still free. For me, I look at it like, if you don't want to do the business, but your credit is being monitored anyway, what's wrong with you? You're not in the business. Think about anyone that's not in the business. If they can walk into any place of business that offers credit and they take some information and pull their credit information, that means that you're being monitored at that moment too. So every person on the planet is being monitored. Doesn't even matter their age. Do y'all get this? If you're in the US of A, you are being monitored. That's why people go and put stuff in the baby's name. So therefore now the baby's being monitored. So it has no age limit. It's a shame, but it's the truth. My mother's telephone in Beloit, Wisconsin, you can just go look up Paul Jones and it'll come up. It's been in my name since I was 12 years old. Period. I didn't realize it until one day I said, Mom, I need to change your long distance. Well, baby, it's in your name. I'm like, all right, you can say no more. At that point, you didn't have bags. I wouldn't do nothing wrong. It's in my name. I changed it. Understand the concept, though. It's simple. Folks can come in free, and it's like, okay, great. Now, doing that, 3 got 3, they got 3, the 30 to 50 a month. Now, those people you just said follow the law and help your 3. Following the law means you spoke to more than 3. Do y'all get that? That's what I mean. When people say, well, I spoke to my 3 and no one wanted to do it. And I'm like, no, it says get 3 people, not stop at 3 people that told you no. I'm like, at that rate, I wouldn't have no kids. You figure out the rest. Just keep going. 729. Wow, this thing, I'm crazy. I'm keeping real with you. 3,000 to 5,000 a month. But you follow the law, you work with the 3. This is where it becomes unbelievable. Keep the conversation pure. Keep the conversation the same. Get people to understand. There's going to be more that say no. That's fine. But this same rule is the same rule that we started with, 95 and 5%. Do you understand it? The same growth here means there's a larger pool out here of people who said no. We know that. But I'm not focused on the no's, I'm focused on the yeses. I'll never understand why a person will go work 40 to 50 hours a week to make this money when they can go 40 to 50 hours a week for a few weeks and make this money. I've done it. Once I've done it, I was the guy that was like a runaway slave. I turned around and was like, yo, everybody, it works. And people sitting there looking at you. Yeah, but it's something about you. No, there's something about you. You didn't want a person to go and prove it worked. So different people find a different excuse to not follow the law. All I did, I'm not a genius. Y'all get this? I'm nothing special. I'm a geek. I studied the law. And I said, well, this law says, if I do this enough times, even if you're a dope dealer, if you do that enough times, you're going to jail. It's a law. Am I relating to you? Doesn't matter. If you do something negative enough, in other words, if you eat fried chitlins enough, eventually it's going to kill you. Y'all like fried chitlins? Yeah. Not only is it chitlins, pork, but you battered them and fried it, you just like double jeopardy. And they so then you see yourself making 30 to 50,000 a month. That's what this business is all about. It's not about $30 to $50, 300 to 500. I don't know life less than that. I don't know this industry making less than that. I remember when I told my wife, I said, you know what, Babin, I believe we can get over 100,000 a month. She was like, well, because she only knew the life that she was raised in, and she doesn't study what I studied, or at the time did she have the faith that I had. We were probably about 25, 30,000 a month then. She said, well, I mean, if not, we're still fine where we are. I'm the one out here doing the work. You fine. I'm like, if you tell me that a man can make $1 million a month, just keep it real, then I can make 100,000. So therefore, when I get it, she was just like, wow. You know, she got on board, but she was like, wow, you did it. And I'm like, you know, once I reflect back, I mean, I was telling Jason the other day, it's like, man, once I started doing that, it was impossible for me to do a one-on-one meeting. My schedule didn't work that way. So I had to go get a tour bus. I had to travel the country that way. But you know what that was? I didn't pay for any meetings for those reps. Those reps hosted me to come in. Only thing I did was put gas in my bus and showed up and paid for my hotel. But they had the team meeting going, those leaders. And it hit me the other day. I was like, oh, you didn't do that. You had enough leaders follow directions. Then all you did later is make your rounds and support the leaders. And I'm like, this whole thing is about leaders who follow the law. So, yeah, I was very excited to see Marquise Williams put some people in the South. But that means I should be able to have a bus, a car, a jet, something where I'm going every 4 to 6 hours, stopping along the way, all the way to the South. And just saying, okay, hello, leader, this is your team. How can we from the corporate office support and help you? Every area has a different understanding of something. Y'all get that? So that way we take that information in and go back and put it in a cooking book or the store pot and make the opportunity even better. But when you have, I remember leaders who are not having success in other companies that once stood up here. And I'm just like, problem with JMG was you. You're not communicating. It's like, what can we do to be better? And it can't be, well, it'd be easy if you have this to get reps. I'm like, tell that to an Amway rep. To me, that's a hard business. It's also a $10 billion company. I'm like, our business is way easier. You're going to pay 10 times more to get involved. And they have the law of numbers working with them. The biggest networking company in the world is Avon, almost a $15 billion company. Ladies selling makeup. We say, well, how are they successful today? It's because of the law of large numbers. So when we announce a promotion, this is why we announced the promotion, not to get you started. Our hopes and understanding is that you are already working, and your follow-up list is who you go back to, as well as your self-motivation to say, hey, new person, not only is it good, but it just even got better. That's why we call it a win-win promotion. So now you're sending out vibes to that follow-up list, like, you know what, the company just did this. And it's all based on not how much it is. It's like, you need to get in right now. I'm telling you, get your 3 people, meet me over here. So my goal is to open the floodgates for every rep to succeed in the business, and then let you be the leaders. So even on Tuesday nights, there is no meeting Tuesday night that corporate is sponsoring. That doesn't mean it doesn't have to be a Tuesday night meeting. It just means that, hey, y'all get together amongst yourselves and do it. Because I'm handicapping you if I just put my credit card up and then you go do a Tuesday night meeting and there's not a single guest in the room. So I'm like, that don't look like someone's working the business. That looks like people are just coming to a meeting. Saturday trainings are reps only. Y'all get that? But from there is, I don't want you to mistake the coffee shop meeting. I don't want you to miss out on the home meeting. Y'all get this? I don't want you to miss out on all the other opportunities, because I hear people say, oh, they didn't come tonight, so I get them next Tuesday. I'm like, no, it's Bertha. She told me that last Tuesday night. I'm a big on her for real if she's online. She said, my guest didn't come, but I'm get them next Tuesday. I'm like, there isn't going to be a next Tuesday unless you do it. I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. You just said next week. How do you know God's going to give you the next 7 days? Y'all know what I mean? It's like, have you ever got that call and a loved one is gone? You're like, man, did you actually know you were going to go on that day? So I look at stuff just like that big old tragic bus accident that happened with all them church folks down in Tennessee. I looked at it, I'm like, it was coming from a church revival. I'm like, God, how did that happen? I'm like, I can't say tomorrow anymore. I got to function in the spirit of right now. And I have to use the information that we have. So Jacob Bernoulli is the guy 3 centuries ago in the 1700s came up with the law of large numbers. Go study that. It's the stuff that I've studied. I've studied J.P. Morgan. I've studied how Chase Manhattan started and merged. I studied all that. I understand how Rockefeller started. And I'm like, yo, they all got together and they did something every day. Do y'all get this? So it is literally, I want y'all to get this, humanly impossible for people to be working something and not have success and results. It's actually humanly impossible. The only way for that to happen is to not be actually applying the law of large numbers. That's how you can even look at large drug cartels and say, how is this? Y'all saw that Sacramento guy just had a website and they did over $1 billion in revenues. And I'm just like, he still got enough people organized to do over $1 billion in revenues before the Fed set in. I'm like, golly. I'm like, I wouldn't do that. But the law is the law. Does this make sense to you? So right now, if you go to my house, you'll see all my cars are parked outside the garage. Maybe the other day it's like, oh, why do you park all your cars at the garage? Because I have a future major league ball player. So if you go in the garage, it's a baseball batting cage. Damn them cars, they're gonna get old and rusty. I'm sewing into him now because I understand the law of numbers. So when he gets off the bus, Let's go in the garage, man. It's football season, Dad. No, it's baseball season for you. It's like, why? It didn't take me long to come to that point. He hit a ball so far that made me, he did it as a 7-year-old, question, could I hit the ball that far at this age? And I was like, now that was, they said, wow, he got a hold to one. And I was like, oh. Then I saw that the Houston Astros, this last year, gave a 17-year-old Puerto Rican kid, 18-year-old now, $7.5 million as a signing bonus. And I'm sitting here looking at this boy hit the ball. I'm like, and then I see them boys in football get their bells rung as a concussion. Yeah, I'm a coach in football, don't get me wrong. And he's a fanatic about it. But without him knowing, I'm just going with the law of large numbers, this repetition. Your muscles will get used to swinging. Your muscles will get used to swinging. And if you swing enough, it doesn't matter what's thrown at you, you know how to swing. So I teach him to step back and swing if it's an inside, step out if it's an outside pitch, and if it's at your right, step forward if it's right down the pipe. You got to make that quick second thought. Come on, son, do it again. Swing. Yes, he gets frustrated at me. But then afterwards, it's high five. I'm like, and like, he hits somewhere. I'm like, whoa! We have a hole in our basement wall for that food. That's why we had to move to the garage. That's why we're in the garage now. Like, I can't let you tear the house up. But man, did you hit that ball? Other parents are like, man, how did you work with him? I'm like, I just play with him. Now I work with him. Because next year, he goes to another kid pitch league. Well, where do you want to be next week? Where do you want to be tomorrow? It's the law of large numbers. So behind closed doors, you have to be practicing your pitch. So no matter what a person throws at you about the networking business, the home business, you personally, JMG, anything, they heard something about me, they heard something about William, they heard something about you in the past, whatever. You're like, oh, inside pitch, boom, I know how to hit that one too. And then sometimes they're just going to make you like, okay, you're not a good pitcher, so therefore it's an automatic walk. Let me just get away from you, right? Or you're going to hit me with the ball. You got to know when it's this isn't it. You're not the one. And you have to pull back. There's been so many people say, I don't think this is for you. You should keep looking for it. I had a lady the other day tell me, well, if I get in, I want to work directly with you. I said, that's humanly impossible. I'm like, you can go work with Mr. Lockett. I'll support him. And whoever he supports, we're in cahoots. Y'all want to call it that. You can go work with Marquise. You said you spoke to Marquise online. Go sign up with him. It doesn't matter to me. I don't have a position. Who do I sign up? You get the point? It's like, I can't sign you up. Where do you go? There's not a Paul Jones position. I'm just like, I'm in business to help you succeed, and you saying you only want to work with me, and I'm just like, nah. I don't even like the way that sounds, because what you just did is you undervalued every leader in my company. Now I don't respect you. Because if I, being a rep, keep in mind, I was a rep in a company. If you'd have came to me and said, I only want to work with you on a company, then I'd have been like, what you working with? What's your net worth? That dude's a billionaire. I'm like, what? Wow, so you spoke to someone online. Like, get lost. You get that? Those are people trying to stroke your ego and not allow your ego to get stroked. When people do that, I go back to that scripture in the Bible where the rich young ruler goes up to Jesus and says, good teacher, good teacher. And then Jesus said, why is it that you call me good? You're giving me too many compliments right now. Back up. What's your point? Are you willing to do this? Keep in mind, Jesus looked at him, loved him, and coached him on what he was not willing to do. Said, if you're willing to do this, then you'll get all of what I'm talking about. So when people come to you and they come to me directly, they think all of a sudden I'm going to give them some kind of advantage. I'm like, no, I promise you. The person you put on the phone with me, although you tell them, well, this is the owner of the company, it doesn't regulate to them. You could put William on the phone, you could put Fred on the phone. All you gotta do is say, this is the leader. It's the same level of understanding. They don't get it. So when people say, Paulie, I just need you to be on the phone with this guy, I'm like, Put them on the phone with Beverly. Say she's a top leader. Beverly, you speak with confidence to that person. It's going to be the same result regardless. You get that? People don't know what they don't know. But you never let them undervalue you as a leader or put you above another person else, because that eventually causes strife. Y'all feel me? You guys say, no, our team is going this way. Yes, we have some guys on our team who are doing great, but you've never seen the quarterback on that team go yell at the running back or the receiver who dropped the ball, especially in front of everybody else. That's very rare. You see him like, oh man, come on, you pat him on the back. We'll get it next time. You may not throw the ball to him no more, but you never see that out public. Those are held for private. Say, look, I need you to do it this way. That person's playing you. So understand this. You guys come together as leaders, not as reps, as leaders. Build your dream daily, not weekly. This is not a weekly business, because we're in business every second of a minute, every minute of an hour, and every day of the week. So therefore, you have to know, who are you speaking to today? Who's going on that follow-up list and who's going on that new people list? You get that? Because I've already did the training. So it gets to a point where I'm like, I don't know what else to say. The numbers don't lie. Please believe that. If you're speaking to 3 people a day, 3 new people a day, and getting their information, all you're doing is following up with them. You get that? 3 new people, follow up. 3 new people, follow up. Company gives you more information, which is like fuel to say, whoa, it's going to be that much easier. I want you at 30 to 50,000 a month. That's not even counting the bonus money and all that. I'm saying focus on the bigger picture. Now keep in mind, that's one service, My Financial Work. If they order 1 box of sirloin, you're at $60,000 to $100,000 a month. That's the only thing I forgot to say the other night. That's why I went into my about to say how I got to $100,000, and it seemed like overnight. I didn't go sign up a whole bunch of new people. I got a tour bus, or organized myself better, and I motivated that team, and we just put one more service on, one more product on. Income instantly, overnight. Probably took 60 to 90 days. But that was once we hit that 40, 50,000 a month mark, then it was like boom, overnight, we were at 100,000. Y'all get this? I'm only telling you from real actions of doing it. But I worked the business 12 to 14 to 16 hours a day. I didn't work the business 1 hour a day. I didn't work the business by sending an email. I would pick the phone up. I'll call people just to see if they're going to answer. If they don't answer, then I'm like, all right, I called you last. Because why? People who aren't working don't want to talk to you. Y'all understand that? Imagine your kids, when you call them, for those who have kids, and you know they're doing something wrong, and all of a sudden, you come home, and you say, Shorty, whatever their name may be, and they're going to be like, hold on, Dad here, Mom here, don't say nothing. Because you're speechless for the moment. So you can actually call your rep, and if they don't answer, because when you call your rep, if they truly your teammate, they're like, oh, here's the answer. What's going on? I'm about to make this happen. And you say, this is what we got to do. We got to make sure we put 3 new ones in. Then it's like, great, somebody needs to give an assignment, right? But if they're like, well, I got this going on, I got that going on, you don't have the right to disrespect them. But they don't have the right to hold you back either. Yeah, does that make sense? It's fair game on both sides. It's like, you can't disrespect them because they don't see the light. You just have to say, oh, okay, well, thanks for letting me know. I appreciate people telling me, even if they don't realize they're telling me, that they're not going to do anything. It's like, I'm not picking on Jay Lee. Me and Jay Lee had a conversation yesterday, and he said something, and I just like, wow. I'm like, Jay Lee, this is training, because I'm constantly training. And I'm hooking him up on game because he's a leader working with people. I said, it takes about 3 to 5 minutes to sign every person up. To put that many people in, that's about 5 hours. That was my way of saying, not saying that's not going to happen, but that's my way of saying, unless you're going to go sit down 5 hours at a computer, that's literally not realistic. Mind you, that beforehand, you have to funnel the people to you. You get this? So you have to still work in the law of large numbers. And then when you get that large number, you say, now this is how we're going to break it down to make it happen. How we break it down to make it happen is we'll say 3 today, 3 tomorrow, 3 the next day. If we just said 7 days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on the 8th day. But what are they doing? Everyone understands this is what I need you to do. They spoke to 10 people though. So 30, 90, 270, 810, 2,400, 7,200, 21,000, 60,000 people. The law of large numbers. I always see the numbers. That's why I can just sit up here and tell you 30, 90, 60. It's like, why? You're going to get that many people. You got to do 60 appointments. You know, you got to do 270 appointments. It's a law. But here's the beauty. Y'all want the reward? When you're done, you're done. That's why it's worth it. So I'm like, I don't know if I got time to do it. I would rather, as I said, be in that batting cage with my son. Not only that, I'd rather call now the baseball season is over and say, Joe, come on over, man. I need you to go on this thing or take my son to this facility. It's like, you came straight out of high school. You teach my boy what you didn't know. You know the politics of it. You teach him. He's like, okay, Mr. Jones, I'm gonna make him call me Mr. Jones anyway. I know he's a Mauer, but I'm a Jones. You better keep up with me. But you gotta have your dream and your vision. You know, get that? My dream and vision, it has nothing to do with me at this rate. It's like when you see the potential, then I'm like, great. I pick on Marquise a lot, like, you're underperforming. I'm like, why? Man, you're supposed to be the #1 guy in the company. You got so much passion. You know the industry better than anybody else. All you got to do is follow the law of large numbers. It's like, great. I tell them, it's like, you have an advantage over Brother Lockett. But if Brother Lockett, already busy, is still beating you, then that tells me something. You know, see this? This man already busy. He had Bible study on Wednesday. He had Tuesday night. He here Saturday morning. He got kids. You know, he got a life. He's got homes to take care of, plus a business to take care of. I'm not cracking a joke. I'm being truthful with you. Do y'all understand this? And then he'll take your phone call. If he doesn't answer, you don't even have to leave a message. He's going to call you back. Yeah, I get that. So that's why I look and say, that's a character trait of a leader. So learn from that, mentor that, and duplicate that. And in the same way he's telling you how he got this, the same way he's done that, not only will it be just for JMG, you may make enough money when you get to $30,000 a month. Forget that. When you get to $5,000 a month, I don't want y'all to be ignorant. When you get to $5,000 a month, put up something. Get set to get into the real estate game. To buy a property that's undervalued, not a overvalued property. Because you're leveraging yourself. I'm going to teach you to create wealth. I'm just not going to beg you to do it. So be the leader that God made you. Go for this. This thing is simple. It's easier than you realize. I mean, I promise you, if all I know is 3 people and that's it, and I'm saying, look, get your 3. Then what? Quit. Just pay your $29.95 a month. Can y'all imagine? What else can you do and say, show up for the first day, and then after that, quit? Then show up for the next day, then after that, quit. Then show up for the next day, then that group can say, nobody's really quitting, but in theory. Then now you just go in the mailbox, and you're doing that. 30, 50,000. Even if the government shut down, your check comes. But those on WIC, those on Social Security, those in veterans, those that even get the check, they now are having issues getting the check because another division is shut down. Those are real issues right now. I'm like, we ain't gonna shut down. Our system's automatic. This is a business you own. Try to sell your welfare check. Try to sell your Social Security check. People sitting back, I'm retired. You till you expire? No. You can sell this. This is willable. This money never goes away. William said he wishes he had a dad that would have did something. This money never goes away, Wallace. 100 years from now, your grandkids that would never know you is splitting a JMG net worth check. Do you realize that right now, Avon and Amway families, heirs, are receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and those families are splitting it. They don't even go to meetings. That's the home business industry I'm subscribing to. Not the fly-by-night, oh, we got this, they got that, run over here, run over there. I'm like, no, I've been around real successful millionaires. Most people who run around with their heads cut off don't even know what a real millionaire looks like. And I promise you, it doesn't look like the person with all the name brand jewelry and everything else. I can go and take you to my neighbor's house and just go out walking. You're like, that's a millionaire, that's a millionaire. You're like, they are? Yeah. It's the craziest thing. I had to learn that because I was the flashiest guy on my block. That guy asked me one time, he's like, why do you got so many cars? And then he made a statement as he walked off. Neighbor doesn't even live in the neighborhood no more. And he said, I'd at least lease them out. He said, I couldn't see. And it was when I had my monster truck. He said, I couldn't see putting that much money in the truck if it wasn't making me money back. And I was like, right then and there, he wasn't being funny. He said his inner feelings of his thinking. This guy was probably 15, 20 years older than me. And right then and there, I'm like, I'm doing what the black ball players do, huh? After that, I told my wife, I said, we're selling all this. And I did. I had real estate properties. I'm like, they really cash flowing. I sold them all. I didn't even know that that guy that said that. A year later, the whole market changed. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I sold them. I was like, well, I got a mortgage on them, but it's no big deal. I'm like, no, they were cash cows. It was all for people to come around like, look how many cars he got. I'm just like, I don't care if you care. But I know if you go get 3 people, and you help them 3 people get 3 people, you'll get 30,000, 50,000 a month, even past your death. Now that's a business worth doing. God bless. You all right, Miss Pepper? Mhm. Yeah,
Are you going to share house with?
I plan to, yes, ma'am.
Because I have another one here that I'm giving to someone.
All right, well, then you better hear. We will do it. We need to do with that.
Okay. Yeah, I brought you a fork just in case you want to see.
Oh, I'll take it on and hold it up. Thank you very much.
Okay. That is, good time. I feel very. Okay,